Hello and welcome to another Wheelife Wednesday. This week we're going to talk about how we fill up our water tank, the freshwater tank that is. So the most obvious and probably easiest way, if you're on site and close enough to a tap, is get the hose out. And so we've got one of these hoses and then that can go straight in. We've got a nice little filler tank here. And we've got a 130 litre tank in there, and so take this off. We're quite lucky that this actually just clips in there quite nicely, so then we can pull it along and then just push this bit onto the tap, screwed it onto the tap, and then just turn it on and hey presto, tank full up. The only trouble is with that, if you're too far away from the tap, you can't actually get there, and so the hose, if it's not long enough, is not going to be a lot of good.
So if the hose doesn't fit then, Trev, what do we do now?
Well, if the hose is too short and you can't move your van, or you don't want to move the van, which is quite often the case, another choice is jerry can. They're quite cumbersome, big.
It is big.
Empty containers take up a lot of room. So if it's anything like us, there is kind of nowhere to put it.
Nowhere in the garage for it to go.
And so when it's full up, it weighs an awful lot.
Too much for me to carry?
I think it's probably too much for you to carry, yeah. And also, how do you get the water when it's full and you're struggling to get it in there?
It doesn't look very easy.
A little bit tricky, so I would say no good.
Chuck it. What next? I found something that I can carry. What about one of those?
All right. Yeah, I have seen people use these, in fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, it holds at the most 10 litres of water.
Oh, how many trips would that?
Well, we've got 130 litres in there when it's empty, so yeah, you do the maths. It's quite a lot of walking about.
Especially if the tap is quite away from the.
That's right. The only good thing is with it, you can obviously
Stick it right in.
pour it in.
If the tap is the other end of the campsite, or quite a trek.
Yeah, that's no good either.
So what have you come up with then, Trevor?
Well, what I've come up with anyway is, let me chuck some of this stuff out of the way. We've got a trolley in the garage anyway, which takes up quite a bit of room, but it's also useful for all sorts of things. You just do that and it's done, ready to go. And so what I found are these collapsible containers. I often just screw them up and make them flat, and you can stuff them in all sorts of funny little holes. These carry 20 litres, so not that much, but I've got 3 of them, and so we can actually take 60 litres of water now in just one trip.
So that's only 2 trips then to fill the tank?
Yeah, 2 trips basically if it's completely empty.
And you're not having to carry it?
You're not having to carry it, no.
Oh, really?
I keep my little hose in there for clipping onto the tap. I've got some different connectors and things. I've even got a little bit of hand sanitizer. If anything looks a little bit dodgy, you'll clean your hands.
See, keep it all clean. So we've got 60 litres of water now, have we?
Yeah, we've got 60 litres in here.
But how are we going to get that into there without spilling it all?
Good question. Well, what I came up with, because you had to do this yourself, didn't you, a few months ago when I had my hip operation. You had to do all the water and filling and emptying.
I do.
And so we know you can actually pick one of these up.
I can, yeah.
Just about. And so what I came up with, I found a spout that was off of a brand new AdBlue tank. Yeah, brand new, take it. It's not a used one. And so what I found was the end of it would just about fit over one of these caps. And I had an old one of these containers. So what I did, I took the cap off, cut the cap off, and I cut a hole in the top here, and then basically glued it into the end of here.
So where did you cut the hole, Trevor?
I cut the hole just in the top of there,
Yeah.
in the old cap, because I found that it would screw or just jam on if I shaved down these little sticky out bits here, like the grip.
Oh, right,
If
okay.
I shaved them down a little bit, and it pushed on to the end of this nozzle thing.
How did you keep it there though?
I think I stuck a little bit of Sikaflex or something that I had in there. Didn't need a lot. Yeah, it doesn't really touch the water.
Silicone type glue, is that?
Yeah, it's incredibly strong adhesive that sticks anything to anything almost. Use it a lot in the caravan motorhome world. So yeah, then obviously now we can just screw it on the top of these containers.
Ah.
And you can pick one up, poke him in, and then we can
Presto.
empty. Just like that. And what you do have to do is, because it's a collapsible container, so the water just comes straight out, it doesn't glug out, because the container's collapsing. When you get to a certain level, not much more water comes out, so you have to kind of burp it. I can show you in a minute once it gets down that far. So it's almost gone. It does collapse a bit more than that sometimes if you just let it all go. But then what I usually do, and it sucks all the air back in, and then just tip out the rest of it.
A little bit.
Yeah. And so that's a fairly easy way of collecting 60 litres of water in one go. So 2 trips and we've got a tank full again.
Yeah, a lot easier than 12 trips with a little watering can.
Yeah.